everyone, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. Today is 18th of May and this entire video series is brought to you by LawSikho. Now let's head to the agenda for today. So first we have the editorial segment and for today we have taken up two articles. Title of first of which is, it is taken from the Hindu, Two Judgments and the Principle of Accountability. See here essentially the author has highlighted a contradiction which is pertaining to a very core principle that was highlighted in two judgments by the Honorable Apex Court very recently. So the first decision, it is with respect to the drift between the center and the Delhi government with respect to who has the legislative and the executive power of controlling the bureaucracy of the National Capital Territory of Delhi. And secondly, the judgment with respect to the entire political fiasco which happened or unfolded in the state of Maharashtra. Also, this particular first judgment, which is with respect to the Delhi government versus the center, we've discussed this in one of our TNAs. I would highly encourage all of you to, go back and watch the same so that you appreciate the nuances of law involved in that judgment better. Second article, it is taken from the Indian Express and it is titled as The Muradabad Riots of 1980, The Incident and Its Political Fallout. Now, secondly, we talk about the news update segment, and thirdly, we dive into the important legal updates of the day. And with this, let's start with the TNA for today. First, for discussion is the article of the Hindu titled as Two Judgments and the Principle of Accountability. This is going to be our order of understanding of it. So first, we talk about the issue involved here. Then we have a look at the contradiction of core principle that the author has highlighted. Thirdly, we talk about why or what is the problem which is leading to this contradiction. And lastly, we have a look at the parting note of the author. So see, recently, in fact, very last week, the Supreme Court delivered two very important judgments. The first judgment that the Honorable Apex Court delivered, by virtue of that, the court has held that it is the government of Delhi, headed by the Chief Minister of Delhi and not the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, which has the control, both executive and the legislature, when it comes to governing the bureaucracy of the NCT of Delhi. And secondly, the judgment, it involved the formation of the current government in the state of Maharashtra post the split that took place in the then governing party of Shiv Sena. Now let's understand what is the contradiction of a principle that is core to these judgments. See, you would know, I'm assuming, if you watched the TNA previously. See, the Delhi case, what happened here essentially, post a 2015 notification of the Home Ministry, the power to administer the civil services in NCT of Delhi, it was given to the Lieutenant Governor. As a result of this, a long battle which continued for 8 years, it unfolded and eventually the Supreme Court held in favor of the Delhi government. And for this very purpose, the court made a reference to Article 239, capital AA of the Indian Constitution, and particularly Clause 3A. And by virtue of that article, the court said that we in our country, we follow the principles of parliamentary democracy. And for that purpose, for the purpose of ensuring this principle, we follow a triple chain of command. How does this chain operate? So first, the civil service officers, they report to the ministers. The ministers, they in turn report to the legislature, and the legislature in turn are accountable to they are accountable to the electorate or to we the people of India. And therefore, the court has ascertained or upheld this principle of parliamentary democracy. However, what we see in the case of Maharashtra, as per the author, it is slightly different because the Maharashtra government, it although upheld the rule of law, it interpreted the provision of the Indian Constitution rightly, but it contradicts the core principle of the Delhi judgment. And this judgment, the Maharashtra judgment, it adheres to the 10th schedule of the Constitution, which I'm sure you would know is the anti-defection law, and which at its heart is incompatible with the structure underlining the parliamentary democracy. Now, how does 10th schedule undermine the concept of parliamentary democracy? Let's understand that now. See, the court noted that there are two concepts. There is a difference between political party and there is a difference between legislature party. What happened in the state of Maharashtra was, there was this ruling party of Shiv Sena. It got split into two factions. A batch of its MLAs, they defected and then they formed a separate party in amalgamation with another political party. The governor, he affirmed the whip that was issued by the defected MLAs led group, and therefore the matter reached the Honorable Apex Court. Now, here the court, while interpreting the 10th schedule, noted that the legislature party, as far as that is concerned, it includes all the MPs and the MLAs belonging to the political party. The court determined that the power to issue directions, it was with the political party and it was not with the legislature party. Kindly note, this is very important. What is the ramification of this observation, or what does this translates to practically? This would mean that a person who is in charge of a political party, he may not be a legislature, or no, he may not be a part of the legislature. He would control every vote of the MP and the MLA of that party. Failure to adhere to such direction by any MP or MLA, what does it mean? It means if you fail the whip or the command of chain that has been issued, the directions that have been issued by the person in charge of the political party, then you would be qualified as being considered as for disqualification under the 10th schedule. So thus this judgment further, as per the author, entrenches the power of the party leadership over the legislature. So in light of the Maharashtra judgment, it only enforces that the MP and the MLAs, they do not owe accountability to the electorate, to the people, but they owe their allegiance only to the party using which they secured its ticket. The problem lies in the very idea of the anti-defection law, which contradicts the democratic principle of accountability of the legislatures to their voters. And this is incorrect. Why? Because while and the author says this is very incorrect, this particular line of reasoning and the law, because the party, it owes its affiliation, the legislature, it owes its affiliation to the party and not to the people. And lastly, there is this particular judgment that came about in the year 1992, whereby a five-judge bench of the Supreme Court, it ruled that the anti-defection law, it did not violate the basic structure. So the author proposes that we constitute a larger bench of the Honorable Apex Court for the purpose of reconsidering this particular judgment that upheld the very anti-defection law. And with this, we proceed to the next editorial for today, which was published in the Indian Express. See, this article is titled as The Muradabad Riots of 1980, The Incident and Its Political Fallout. See, recently what has happened essentially is the government of UP, it has now announced that it shall table the MP Saxena Commission report based on the months-long riots in 1980. This report, it was submitted in the year 1983. However, the contents, they had never been made public. Now let's understand as to what was the cause of these riots and how has been the response of the state and the center. So essentially what happened was that in the year 1980, there was this congregation of 50,000 plus Muslims. They were gathering for the purpose of namaz. And during this point in time, there was rumor which spread, which said that at the site where the Muslims, they were gathered for the purpose of namaz, there is this stray animal which is entered, and there was also a huge police deployment at the site. So the Muslims or the prayer seekers, they were seeking the removal of the animals. And due to this confrontation, it turned into a very heated debate. And very soon there was this exchange of stone pelting between the police authorities and those who gathered for the purpose of citing Nawaz. Then, as a result of this, the police opened fire, and this led to a lot of casualties. So the violence, it began at Eidgah in the mid 1980s, and it continued in other rural areas of Muradabad till the next year, which is 1981. And as far as the toll of casualties is concerned, it is around 289. It includes those who died or those who were considered missing or dead. This was the first time that UP had witnessed communal violence of this particular scale. As far as the state response is concerned, the state government, it stated in the UP Legislative Assembly that it received a warning from the intelligence agency, which has said that there could be a confrontation of this sort due to a stray animal. And as a result of this intelligence update, the government, it made certain preventive detention under the National Security Act. And the chief minister, he said that he made a choice between innocents dead or innocents jailed, justifying the long incarceration of those who were arrested during as a result of this preventive arrest. Now, Indira Gandhi at the center, she blamed a foreign hand as the cause of these riots. However, this statement, it was later retracted owing to a lot of backlash. And later the Home Minister, he blamed the RSS for the riots. Now, as a result of this, also, the opposition took advantage of this situation and it bashed the center and the state government for failing to contain the riots. They also alleged that Muradabad, it was an instance of the state perpetrating unbridled violence against a community, which is the Muslim community. The attacks by the police on the Muslims in order to contain the protests and the riots, they were compared to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre by the Janata Party MLA Rajendra Singh. And with this, we proceed to the next segment for today, which is the national news. And now we proceed to the national news category for today. So first, we have an update with respect to the launch of a program which is called 50 Startups Exchange, and this is between India and Bangladesh. So under this program, 50 startups from each Bangladesh and India, they're going to exchange visits to each other's countries for the purpose of exploring partnerships, expanding business relations, sharing experience and knowledge, and expanding youth and entrepreneurial cooperation. The framework of this program, it was decided by the prime ministers of both the countries during the recent bilateral summits. Moving on, Zomato has announced the launch of its own UPI offering. This is in partnership with ICICI Bank. Food and grocery delivery company Zomato, it has recently announced its partnership with ICICI Bank, and this is for the purpose of introduction of its own UPI offering, which is called Zomato UPI. With this new feature, the company, it is aiming to enhance the payment experience of its users, because now it is allowing the users to complete the order within the app itself without having the need to use a separate payment app. By introduction of this feature, the company, it also aims to reduce its reliance on cash on delivery orders. Next, we have an update in the segment of sports. Gatka martial art, it is to feature in the 37th National Games. The Indian Olympic Association is going to organize competitions for a total of 43 disciplines during this national event, and this is in collaboration with the government of Goa. As far as the National Gatka Association of India is concerned, its president is Harjit Singh Garewal, and the president of the Indian Olympic Association is PT Usha. Also, there is a likelihood of this question featuring in your exam because recently she has been in news and making headlines for her comment with respect to the ongoing protest by the wrestlers. You may have a look at the coverage that we did in our TNAs on this entire issue. Moving on. Another update in the sports category, reigning Asian Games champion shot putter Tajinder Singh Toor and Commonwealth Games bronze medalist in the game of javelin throw, Anu Rani, they shared the limelight recently. And this is because they clinched gold medal in their respective events on the second day of the Federation Cup Senior Athletics Championship. As far as Anu is concerned, she represents the state of UP in these championships, and last year she made a national record to her name. Another update in the segment of sports. So the All India Football Federation, AIFF, this is declared that 23rd June, the birth anniversary of the Indian football legend Pradeep Kumar Banerjee, it will be recognized as the AIFF Grassroots Day. This decision, it was made in acknowledgement of Banerjee's remarkable contribution when it comes to the field of football in our country. This is also in line with his notable instrumental role in leading the national team to a historic gold medal triumph in Asian Games in the year 1962. Next, we have an update with respect to a long documentary award which was being awarded to Gauri at the South Asian Film Festival. Gauri, which is a documentary based on journalist and activist Gauri Lankesh, directed by Kavitha Lankesh. It has won the Best Long Documentary Award recently, and this was at the South Asian Film Festival of Montreal for the year 2023. The documentary film, which is titled as Gauri, it has been commissioned by Free Press Unlimited Amsterdam, and the documentary All That Breathes, which was an Oscar nominee as well. It was also in the competition and it won in the category of runner-up. That is, it was at the second position. Moving on with the next update, the UGC, it has launched new website, UTSA and POP portals to promote quality education. The University Grants Commission, which is the UGC, it has recently launched a new website and also two portals, one of which is Professor of Practice and second is UTSA, which is Undertaking Transformative Strategies and Action in Higher Education. This is done to promote quality of education in our country. The launch of these new initiatives, it is a significant step by the UGC in its effort to promote quality education in India. The new website and these portals, they will provide valuable resources to students, to faculties, and to universities, and thus is going to help in quality improvement of our education system. Also, there is a question which I would like to ask you. Which commission recently launched a portal whereby they've unified the recruitment process and made it entirely digital? Please put down your answers in the comment section. And this has brought us to the international segment for today. First update is with respect to the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. This year, the World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, it focuses on empowering the least developed countries through information and communication technologies. The International Telecommunication Union, which is the ITU, it calls on the public and private sectors to make pledges for the universal connectivity and digital transformation in these countries through its Partner to Connect Digital Coalition. Next update is another in the segment of international news. This is with respect to US declaring certain amount of nuclear warheads in arsenal. The United States, it has recently released statistics, and this is with respect to the size of its nuclear weapons arsenal as it tries to coerce Russia to live up to its New START treaty obligations. In effect since 2011, the New START treaty, it seeks to improve national security by limiting the nuclear weapons of the two most heavily nuclear armed nations on the planet Earth. Under the agreement, both the nations, they are obliged and obligated to exchange data on the size of their nuclear arsenal semi-annually. And this has brought us to the last segment for today, which is the segment of legal news update. The first segment or the first update, it is coming from the Honorable Apex Court. So the Supreme Court has recently held that when a few consumers who have the same interest seeking the same relief, they file a joint complaint without any public interest involved therein, then it need not be filed in a representative capacity in compliance with Order 1, Rule 8 of the CPC, as is required under Section 13, subsection 6 of the Consumer Protection Act. The name of this particular case is Alpha G 184 Owners Association versus Magnum International Trading Company Private Limited. The next update, it also comes from the Honorable Apex Court. So on Wednesday, the Supreme Court refused to entertain a petition which was filed by Sadar Laboratories Private Limited. This was in challenge to the Delhi High Court's order which restrained it from manufacturing and selling any product under the trademark Dil Afza till the disposal of the trademark infringement suit, which was essentially filed by the Hamdard National Foundation India, which manufactured Ruabza. The name of this particular case is Sadar Laboratories Private Limited versus Hamdard National Foundation, India. And this has brought us to the end for today's TNA. In case you want to get access to the free study material that we curate or the TNA slides that you've just seen in this video, I would highly encourage all of you to join our Telegram channel. And for this very purpose, you may click on the link which is provided in the description right here, or you may scan the barcode here. These are the point of contacts for you to get in touch with LawSikho. And the quiz which is based on yesterday's TNA, it is also made available for your feasibility in the description itself. Kindly click on the link and attempt the quiz. And also put down your answers in the comment section. Thank you for being with us.